Para la noche, que los guarda Vietnamese. Muchas gracias. Welcome again, everyone. It is an honor to be here with you as we celebrate the Hispanic pioneers of our great city of Aurora. If everybody could please silence down and stand for the presentation of the colors. The presentation of the colors is by the Aurora Police Department Honor Guard Officers Todd Coleman, Tony Piscopo, Patty Vega, and Mike Dizer.
Forward, march. Face. Present. On.
Please welcome Melissa Bonilla to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by the National Anthem.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Oh, say, can you see? By the dawn's early light, oh, say, can you see? By the dawn's early light, what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we won, where so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Forward, march.
Thank you again to the Aurora Police Department Color Guard and Melissa Bonilla. I'd like to acknowledge our elected officials and special guests here with us this morning. We have State Representative Stephanie Kipowit, State Representative Barbara Hernandez, State's Attorney John McMahon, Alderman at Large Bob O'Connor. Alderman at Large Sherman Jenkins. Alderman of the First Ward Emmanuel Llama. And of course our host and Alderman of the Second Ward, Juan Garza. Alderman of the Third Ward, Ted Mestiacos. Alderman of the Sixth Ward, Mike Seville. Alderman of the Seventh Ward, Shakita Hartburn. Alderman of the Ninth Ward, Ed Budd. Alderman of the 10th Ward, Judd Locke. From the Kane County Sheriff, Ron Hain. Judge of the 16th Judicial Court, the Honorable Renee Cruz. The Honorable Sandra Carga. And the Honorable Elizabeth Blood. We have with us the Aurora Police Department. And the Aurora Fire Department. We also have School District and School Board 129. Police Superintendent Dr. Craig and Board President Bob Gonzalez. School District 131 and Board President Annette Johnson. From the Mexican Consul General's Office of Chicago, Miguel Antonio Cuesta Zarco. From the Secretary of State's Office, Ernesto Martinez. Elgin City Councilman Corey Dixon. Miss Fiestas Patrias First Princess Cristal Salas. Miss Fiestas Patrias Reina Victoria Esparza. And I hope you've all been enjoying the artworks outside. They are from Mexico, and we have the artists here, Alberto Bello Sanchez, and also Alberto Loma. In an effort to make sure we don't miss anyone, we did have a sign-in sheet, but if I did miss somebody, please let us know you're here. We want to make sure we acknowledge and thank you for your support. Okay, I think we got everybody. That's the first. Unless you don't want to stand up. Okay, I'd also like to acknowledge today's event sponsor. They are Scientel Solutions. Thank you, Scientel. And we have in-kind sponsors, Tequila Paris, Nuestra Cocina, La France Bakery, Mike Gessie, and Country Financial Felipe Rocha. All right, Aurora has long been a diverse culture. It has a history of diverse culture. But today it is more evident than ever. And today that diversity is embraced, and the warmth of that acceptance resonates loud and clear here in the city of Aurora. In 2005, Alderman Juan Garza became the first elected Hispanic alderman woman in Aurora. And for all of the Hispanics in Aurora, whether in her ward or not, she was our alderwoman. That same year, she realized that the Hispanic ancestors who paved the way for future Hispanic leaders had not been properly recognized. So she gathered a group of community leaders, and in the fall of 2005, Alderman Garza hosted the very first Hispanic Pioneers Breakfast to honor their courage and tenacity. Since then, she has continued to honor Hispanic members of the community and the organizations who serve and help enhance the quality of life for Hispanics in Aurora. Please help me welcome to the stage for opening remarks, Alderman Juan Garza.
Thank you everyone to make time for everybody's so busy, and these times everybody's running. So we have to make time for a kickoff of Fiestas Patrias. Like Maria said, so we started in 2005 this breakfast with a few members of the community to help it. I think it's two members from the committee today. I think it's Penny Falcon, she was here since we started. And also Mr. Greg Salgado wasn't here too. Was the first ones of the committee for the Pioneers Breakfast. So thank you so much. So now we have more members of the committee. Also, there's not myself, so we have a lot of members still helping. Like, so we have Olga and Pancho all the time, we were talking about that. And so we have Maria, and Nancy, and Penny is still working now. Cristal is heading to the group of the committee to prepare this, and so all the members. So we have really, everyone worked so hard to get this together. And when we start for the pioneers, really, what they mean pioneer for people, or to me, pioneer is a person who is one of the first in any area. Also, a person who begin and help doing and then develop something new. Even with all the prejudice or people saying no, it's not possible. So this is a pioneer, really. So we have so many pioneers here. I know when we start something new and say no, probably it's not going to reach, then they're not going to be success. But if we still continue and say yes, you have the idea what you really want, make the difference, and pave the way for the other ones. So ese es what the mean pioneer. Un pionero para mí es una persona que empieza algo nuevo, no importa las críticas, no importa nada, tienes tu idea y sigues adelante. So we have so many pioneers in Aurora, Hispanic pioneers since 1929, when people came, the first Latinos or Hispanic came to Aurora. So then since that, we have so many families and people pioneer in different areas. So we are already in 15 years, so we recognize a lot of pioneers in different areas. So this year, we want to recognize Hessel House. Why Hessel House? Because Hessel House has also they have a lot of Latino people, Latino families. So a lot of Latino families is still now Hessel House helping when they really need. I know we have so many families for many years being in Hessel House, but sometimes it's not too happy to say yes, we live in Hessel House. But I know so many families living there. Moms sometimes get divorced. They live there with the kids. They send them to the school. These moms, some of them, they already buy a house. Her kids, some of the lawyers, they live when they're little in Hessel House. So that's why we recognize in Hessel House today. Thank you so much for all the help to do for our families. And also we want to provide scholarships like we did in the beginning. Thank for all the businesses really help to continue, and the other ones, my colleagues, to help to continue the dreams of these young people. They have a dream, and sometimes they have a difficult to pay the tuition or the books, and that's why we need to help them. So when I talk to the business owners and say, please help me to help to these students finish the careers and finish their dreams, and be a better generation, a generation more educated and more prepared, like we need in these times. And so thank you all the businesses to help me with that, and also the college admins for providing scholarships. Until today, we provide 110,000 in scholarships. I cannot believe it. We want to continue with the program, but really, without the businesses and without the aldermen and colleagues, this is not possible. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Alderman. I'm going to his up here. Just make it a little easier for everybody to speak. Can you guys hear me? Okay. There we go. And Alderman Garza already mentioned some of them, but I also want to formally mention all the committee members who have helped her put this event throughout the 15 years and in the last few years. As she was speaking, I was looking at the balloons behind me saying 15, and in my mind I knew it was 15, but then I thought, oh, they look like quinceañera balloons. And I'm like, wait, this is the quinceañera of the Hispanic Pioneers. So those board committee members are, as Penny mentioned from the beginning, Penny Falcon, I'm sorry, as Alderman Juan Garza mentioned, Penny Falcon, Francisco Telles, Olga Tenorio, Cristal Cortez, and from Wabansi Community College, we have Latinos Unidos and Mecha. Thank you. Thank you very much. And furthermore, to help continue the leadership of this great city, we do look to our youth, and we do know that every single year Aurora emerges the brightest minds in the area. Do we know that or what? Woo! This morning, some of those students will be presented with scholarships, and on behalf of the Hispanic Pioneers Breakfast, I'd like to express appreciation to the sponsors of today's scholarships. They are Aurora Jewelry, Brian Poole from State Farm, Denny's Restaurant in North Aurora, Denny's Restaurant from Fox Valley Park District, K&G Management, McDonald's, La Chicanita Bakery, La Quebrada Restaurant, La Quinta de los Reyes Restaurant, Laborers Union Local 582, Supermercado El Paso Grande, Supermercado El Patrón, Supermercado La Chiquita, Unidos, Alderman at Large Robert O'Connor, Ward 3 Alderman Ted Masiacos, Ward 4 Alderman Bill Donnell, Ward 6 Alderman Mike Seville, Ward 7 Alderman Shakita Hart-Burns, Ward 9 Alderman Ed Bugg, and Ward 10 Alderman Judd Lochy. Thank you again for your commitment to the students in our community. Let's give them one more round of applause. I'm going to introduce our keynote speaker. She was born and raised in San Juan, Puerto Rico, and following in her father's footsteps, she made a career choice to practice law. Margarita obtained her bachelor's degree in business administration, majoring in accounting at the University of Puerto Rico. She was awarded the Medal of the CPA organization for having the highest score in accounting classes of her graduating class. She went on to receive her law degree also from the University of Puerto Rico, was a member of the University of Puerto Rico Law Review, and began practicing under the Supreme and Federal District Courts of Puerto Rico. She practiced law working for the Legal Department of Economic Development Administration, and soon after opened her own private practice in San Juan. In 1983, Margarita married Tony Mantas and moved to Chicago. She spent the next few years raising their 4 daughters, and in 1990 decided to get back into the practice of law. She passed the Illinois bar exam and immediately opened her law office here in the city of Aurora. She was the first Hispanic woman to open a legal practice in Aurora. The need for a bilingual attorney became apparent to Margarita very quickly when she saw how Hispanics were underrepresented in legal matters because of the language barrier. Please help me in welcoming attorney Margarita Marchan Martin.
Good morning, everybody. It's an honor for me to be here, to be asked by one to be the speaker here. Thank you, Alderman Juan Garza, for inviting me to speak on this 15th annual Hispanic Pioneers Breakfast. As many of you may know, I have been in private practice in downtown Aurora since early 1993. During this time, most of the clients in my legal practice have been Latino. since I was born, raised, and educated in Puerto Rico. It is no coincidence that I love the Spanish culture and identify closely with my Latino clients. Notwithstanding this cultural connection to my clients, I have to admit that I went through a period of adjustment when I opened my office in Aurora. Before I married and moved to the mainland United States, my legal practice in Puerto Rico focused on working with businesses whose needs and concerns were very different from the ones I encountered here. I learned that Latinos here were largely misrepresented in their legal matters since, for the most part, they are not able to understand and communicate in English. This makes it very challenging to represent them at court hearings. Unlike the medical field, for example, in the legal field, we don't have objective tests like CT scans, MRIs, lab results that help doctors make an informed diagnosis, even if the patient is unable to communicate in their language. In the legal field, we attorneys need to know facts, intentions, etc., through verbal communications with our clients, not by objective scientific tests. Furthermore, when Latinos encounter a court setting or an administrative hearing, like the ones that we must attend in the Social Security disability cases, many of my clients become very nervous when they're called to testify. This is quite common, even if the client is fluent in English, but it is doubly so if he or she must depend on a translator. Even so, I have to inject sometimes because the translation is not accurate. Those are examples of some of the initial difficulties I encountered when I started my practice in Aurora. Coming from Puerto Rico, a jurisdiction where everybody speaks the same language, that was an eye-opener. I am grateful that there are more Latino attorneys in Aurora now compared to when I started in 1993. It has been a long journey for me. I have accumulated many experiences that have made me grow, not only professionally, but personally as well. By way of illustration, I would like to share two stories with you. The first one involves a nearly 70-year-old Latino woman who came to my office several years ago. She told me that her husband of 50 years had passed away, and she wanted to know what benefits she could obtain as a widow from Social Security. She said that she and her husband had had 12 children, all of them adults by now, and that her husband had always had Social Security payments withheld from his wages. After further questioning, I determined that theirs was a common law marriage and that they were never married legally. They never thought it was necessary to legally marry since their relationship was working fine. Unfortunately, since they never signed that legal paper, she was entitled to zero benefits, even though she spent 50 years with him. They never thought, and nobody ever advised them, to take that important step in their relationship. It was sad to see that a nearly 70-year-old widow who had raised 12 children could obtain no benefits, even though her partner had paid into the Social Security fund for so many years. In addition, since she was a mother who stayed home to raise all of their 12 children and never worked outside the home, she was not entitled to Social Security benefits in her own name. The second story has had a great emotional impact on me. It involves a woman from Mexico who came to see me about a divorce from her estranged husband who was supposedly still in Mexico. We will call her Maria. Maria told me that her husband abandoned her while she was pregnant with a set of twins. 7 months after her twin girls were born, Maria was destitute and made the difficult decision to cross the United States border illegally to seek work so she could provide food and shelter for them. She left her babies with her mother in Mexico and crossed the river, where she almost drowned. She said she did not know who helped her to stay afloat since she was already on the water. But she survived and was able to find a job in America. From that day on, she worked every day and sent money to her mother and her babies. She did that year after year. She was never able to return to Mexico to see her twin daughters during those years and could only talk to them by phone once they were old enough to speak. Shortly before Maria came to see me, she found out that her mother had died. Fortunately, the twins were old enough by then to take care by themselves, although Maria was never able to see her mother personally again. In the meantime, Maria had developed a new relationship several years after coming to America and had given birth to 2 other children, a boy and a girl. She came to see me about divorcing her Mexican husband so she could marry the father of her children here. She told me that the joy for her was that her 2 children, born and raised in the United States, had decided to go to Mexico to meet their 2 half-siblings who were already in their 20s. They told Maria that by doing so, they would bring a piece of her to the twins in Mexico. This was very comforting to my client, knowing that the half-siblings would be able to meet and bring what she said, a piece of herself to the 2 daughters that she had never been able to personally see, hug, and kiss for all those years. Maria and I cried together. I still have tears in my eyes when she told me this tragic story of her life. Unfortunately, these are common stories that I hear frequently. How fathers and mothers never see their children again because they cannot go back. The only thing they can do is send them money so they could survive with food and shelter. These and many stories have impacted me and have made me to be thankful for all the joy that we have here. In the United States of America, we have opportunities that many do not have in their countries of origin. In the United States of America, we have a chance to achieve our dreams and our children can enjoy a better life because they're given more opportunities. The other thing that has amazed me in all these years being in Aurora is how Latino parents teach their children to love their Latino country, its traditions, its music, dances, and its cultural values. When I hear children born here of Puerto Rican parents and how they speak Spanish with the same Puerto Rican accent and rhythm, I'm amazed. Even if they have never visited the island, they seem to speak and feel and express themselves in the same way. The same is true for the children born of parents from other Latin American countries. For all of this, I really believe we need to be more sensible to the human suffering that immigrants encounter in their quest to achieve better living opportunities for themselves and for their families. When I hear these stories, it makes me ask, how can we help to alleviate all this suffering which still continues here in the United States of America and all around the world? In conclusion, I just want to end my presentation with this salute. Viva Mexico, viva Puerto Rico, viva all Latin America, and may God bless the United States of America.
Thank you, Margarita. Thank you very much. As a
Ella es una pionera hispana de Aurora.
Thank you again. As a real young girl, I remember when Margarita first opened her practice in Aurora. I think it was on the corner of Broadway and Benton, and you had to go upstairs or down. There were stairs. I remember that. I was really, really young, maybe a toddler. Anyway, Lincoln and Benton, yes, that's what it was. And we used to live on Flag Street. But I remember it was the talk of the town. It was the talk of the town that there was a Spanish-speaking attorney that could help families. So Spanish-speaking families talked about her, and I remember, and although we never used her services, had no need, thank God, we always knew that she was there. So thank you, Margarita. Next, we will present the Hispanic Pioneer Award. Homelessness is a state of being without adequate, safe, or regular dwelling. We all know that a home is a place that offers shelter, a sanctuary for both the mind and the body. It is one of the most basic needs that human beings need in order to feel safe. Yet, there are some, and I would say too many, who spend their nights in shelters as their primary nighttime residence. For whatever reason, divorce, domestic violence, poverty, the fact that they have no access to regular housing renders them homeless. It is emotionally, physically, and mentally difficult. The U.S. Census reports that there are about 3.5 million people in the U.S. that are subject to a varying degree of homelessness. Of this, 40% are families with kids, and the most alarming thing is that this is the fastest growing homeless segment. About 1,500 people of these chronically homeless have never found the opportunity to get back to the state of being homed. That is to find jobs and opportunities that can lead them out of homelessness. 13% of these are Hispanics or Hispanic Americans. When I hear the word homeless, one agency comes to mind, and that agency is Hesed House. Today, Hesed House is the largest homeless shelter in the state of Illinois and the largest shelter outside of the city of Aurora. More than 7,000 volunteers from over 90 area churches, businesses, and service organizations assist individuals and families experience homelessness every year. Hesed House sees about 16 newly homeless individuals each week. That's one new homeless every 8.5 hours. They also strive to get 16 or 17 individuals out of homelessness each week. With the help of professional staff and alliances with outside agencies, over 8,000 people are served through Hesed House Shelter and 3 housing programs annually. They have served 242 and 298,000 warm, nutritious meals. They've provided 80,766 warm, safe nights of restful sleep and serve about 120 children annually. In 2018, they directly assisted 291 individuals obtain housing. They engaged 41 individuals in ongoing mental health treatment, helped 173 individuals obtain Social Security, veterans, and other benefits, and engaged 82 individuals in substance abuse treatment and maintained their sobriety. Please help me in welcoming the following Hesed House honorees. Founder of Hesed House, Sister Rosemarie Lorenzen. Executive Director, Mr. Ryan Dow, if you can come up, and longtime supporter, first board member, and longtime volunteer, Father Tim Piasecki. Help me welcome them. Let's all stand.
And before there were all the staff, and before there was the building, there were the homeless people. When Hesed House began, the steel industry had fallen on hard times, and all the factories in the Aurora area that dealt with steel had fallen on harder times, and homelessness had just begun to be a problem. And the churches of the Aurora area, the faith communities, the people of the Fox Valley came together to see what they could do to help their neighbors, their brothers and sisters. In 1982, 6 faith communities in Aurora began opening their doors once a week, a Sacred Heart 2 days a week, by offering overnight hospitality to their homeless brothers and sisters. That number of churches soon grew to 14, but the number of homeless guests kept growing even more quickly, expanding far beyond their capacity of the churches. So the churches turned to the city of Aurora, and the mayor generously responded to their most really urgent needs by offering them the former city municipal incinerator, a central site for their shared ministry. we found that rather symbolic in many ways. The place that had been the place of the refuse, we were turning into a place to help rescue our brothers and sisters. And we named that place Hesed House. Hesed is a Hebrew word. It describes God's unconditional and everlasting love that seeks justice for all of God's people. And throughout this Hesed journey, it has been my privilege to walk hand in hand with tens of thousands of caring people in the Fox Valley. As was mentioned, now over 90 churches. Together, we slowly forged and struggled to live out our common vision to be a deeply caring people, constantly striving to take care of the needs and the inherent dignity of each member of our community, and united in a common will to pursue justice and to end homelessness. Here in our town, homeless people are not the other. Aurorans of all races, classes, and religions can now call their brothers and sisters by name. We are, all of us, people who seek justice, who do Hesed. These are the kind of bonds that transcend and transform boundaries. And that is truly a mission and a legacy of which we can all share a most common pride. Thank you.
From the book of Leviticus. The Lord told Moses to say to the community of Israel, "Do not mistreat aliens who live in your land. Treat them as you would a fellow Israelite, and love them as you love yourselves. Remember, you were once aliens living in the land of Egypt." Many years ago, a group of concerned pastors headed by people like Sister Rosemarie and Sister Mary Catherine and Pastor Zan Harper and Father Phil Riley and others, reached out to the community of churches. They were looking for congregations to host homeless people for one night a week. Pastors approached their congregations seeking their blessing. One pastor said his parish council pushed back, fearing, they said, what might happen if our children see those people. I was the pastor of Sacred Heart at the time. The majority of parishioners were immigrants or children of immigrants, mostly Spanish-speaking. I asked our parish council what they thought about opening our gym once a week for homeless people to sleep. They just stared at me. Then someone said, "Father Tim, of course, that's what the church does. Isn't that what Jesus told us to do?" And to do what Jesus told them to do, they volunteered to prepare the space. They washed bed linen. They prepared meals. They visited with our overnight guests, kept them safe throughout the night while they slept, and they continue to serve to this day. Last year, Annabelle Rivas from our parish approached me. "Father Tim, would it be all right for St. Mary's to prepare a meal once a month for the family staying at Hesed House?" I must have stared at her until I could say, of course, that's what the church is for. There are some people who are sin techo, without a roof over their heads. They are really houseless. But there are many, many others who have that terrible sense that they do not belong anywhere. These are the true homeless ones. They have a roof, but not a home. La tierra siempre llama. That sense of home always calls to you. In La Comunidad Hispana has a strong and living memory of what it's like to be houseless and what it's like to be homeless. Remember, you were once aliens, and they remember. And almost without thinking about it, they respond instinctively to those who need a home or a roof over their heads. In the 40 years that I have ministered in the Latino community, I have never been disappointed. Their response has always been compassion, cooperation, and service, always reminding me what Jesus told us to do and what the church is really for.
You've heard about the past of Hesed House and some of the present. Let me tell you a little bit about the future. So, Hesed House's goal hasn't changed since that very first night in 1982. Our goal then and our goal today is still to end homelessness in this community. What's perhaps changed a little bit, though, is that the rest of the country is realizing that we're really darn good at it. We're really good at ending homelessness, one person, one family at a time. The rest of the country is starting to realize what everyone in this room has known for a long time, and that's that Aurora is special. This community is unique. Woo! Thank you. That's right. We're unique in how we care for the most vulnerable. We're unique in how we rally around the marginalized. And we're unique in having the ambition to actually end homelessness in our community. And increasingly, the rest of the country wants what we have here in Aurora. We've got organizations driving down from Wisconsin to figure out how they can replicate Hesed House in Wisconsin. We've got organizations flying out from Denver to figure out how they can replicate Hesed House in Denver. We've got organizations calling from around the country. We've got cities calling us, asking, how do we get a Hesed House in our community? Because the rest of the country wants what we have. And so the future of Hesed House, quite simply put, is this. We're going to end homelessness, and then we're going to show the rest of the country how it's done. All of you who make Aurora so special and so unique and such a model for the rest of the country. Thank you, Alderman Garza, and everyone who put this together. Thank you, you guys are awesome.
I know you are passionate to do what you do, and I know you, and I know Sister, and I know Father Tim, so they have so much passion for all the community, entire community. And I know especially for the team, Father Tim, thank you so much. Hi, my people. Thank you. Thank you, thank you.
Let's thank them one more time for their dedication to the Hispanic community and the whole Aurora community overall. They truly are helping overcome the adversities of homelessness. Now we recognize the students in our community by presenting them with this year's scholarships. I'd like to call lead Alderman Juan Garza here to hand out the scholarships. But I will also be calling each of the scholarship sponsors. So if you guys could be prepared and ready to come up when I call you. I will also be calling the students. So again, students, be prepared as well when I call you. Okay, we will start with Alderman Juan Garza's scholarships. She will be presenting 2 scholarships, and they are in the amount of $2,500 each. The first student to receive it is Elizabeth Estrada Cervantes. Elizabeth. Elizabeth is attending Aurora University and majoring in mathematics. Congratulations, Elizabeth. The second scholarship goes to Jorge Lopez Rios. Jorge gets also a $2,500 scholarship. He's attending St. Augustine College and studying interdisciplinary studies. Next, on behalf of La Chicanita Bakery, who could not make it today, Alderman Juan Garza will be presenting a $1,000 scholarship to Blanca Sotelo. Blanca is also attending St. Augustine College and is majoring in early childhood education. She not here? Blanca Sotelo? Okay. Aurora Jewelry, our scholarship sponsor, Aurora Jewelry. Come on up. Presenting a $500 scholarship to Dalia Ayala, attending St. Augustine College and majoring in psychology.
Alderman Garza.
Okay, our next scholarship is provided by State Farm, Brian Poole. Is he here, Brian? No? Okay. Well, on behalf of then Alderman Garza will be presenting it. It's a $500 scholarship to Nayeli Torres. She is attending St. Augustine College. Is Nayeli here? There she comes. So just congratulations.
Yeah. This envelope is enough. Brian's supposed to bring the check.
Yes, okay.
I'm so sorry. I can get it later, okay?
We did get enough. Next, we have La Quebrada Restaurant. On behalf of La Quebrada, Alderman Garza will be presenting the check. A $500 check to Diana Alcala. She is attending St. Augustine College and majoring in early childhood education. Bien.
Look this way, look this way. Step back in. Thank you.
Next, El Patron Grocery. Is El Patron Grocery here? Somebody, representative? No? Okay. They have the check also. Okay. Well, we want to recognize, if you could please stand, she's going to be receiving a $500 scholarship, Laura Rodriguez. Laura is attending St. Augustine College and majoring in English, and she will be receiving a check from El Patron Grocery. Next, presenting a scholarship is Unidos. Is Unidos here? There we go. Unidos is presenting a $500 scholarship to Marta Munguia. Marta is attending St. Augustine College and majoring in computer science. Next, presenting a scholarship, Laborers Union 582. Are you here? There we go. Presenting a $500 scholarship to Gustavo Salgado, attending Aurora University and majoring in exercise science. Next, presenting a scholarship is Alderman Mike Seville. Alderman Mike Seville is presenting a $1,000 scholarship to Tony Nicolat, who could not be here today, but his mom is accepting on his behalf. Is mom here? There she comes. He is at Illinois State University.
Maria, he's watching online.
Oh, congratulations. He's watching online. Everybody, let's give him a round of applause. He's watching online. $1,000 scholarship. You're getting a $1,000 scholarship to pay that tuition. Oh, mom sends you a kiss and says thank you. Unable to join us, Keith and Gloria Casanova. They do have a check for $2,000. Who is unable to join us as well, but we do want to mention them, is Pauline Shelmo. Oh, okay, very nice, good, thank you. I have no here, but come on up. So they will be giving the check to Alderman Garza, and you'll be able to pick it up, but we do want to recognize you and congratulate you. It will be a $2,000. Oh, I guess she does have the check. She's attending Wabanzi Community College and majoring in business and entrepreneurship. Next, presenting a scholarship, Alderman Judd Lopchi. Alderman Judd Lopchi is presenting a $1,000 scholarship to Valerie Shelmo. Valerie is not here, but Mom is accepting it on her behalf. Mom, come on up. Attending Wabanzi Community College and majoring in speech pathology. Congratulations. Next, Denny's of North Aurora. Is somebody here from Denny's? Yeah, they're not. Okay, so they'll be able to pick up that check. But it is a $1,000 scholarship. Also, Alberto Alcántar could not join us. He is at Wabanzi Community College, majoring in engineer science. El Paso Grande Grocery is unable to join us, but Juan Garza will be presenting that check on their behalf. A $1,000 scholarship, and I believe a representative for Andrea Duran was going to be here. No? Okay, so we'll make sure she gets that. Next, we have La Quinta de los Reyes. La Quinta de los Reyes will be presenting a $500 scholarship. They will be presenting that scholarship to Diana Cepeda. Diana is studying at Wabanzi Community College and majoring in biology. Oh, it's an $800 scholarship. Congratulations. Alderman at Large Bob O'Connor. Alderman Bob O'Connor is presenting a $500 scholarship to Paudo So, attending Wabanzi Community College, majoring in criminal justice. Supermercado La Chiquita. Julio, okay. Supermercado La Chiquita is presenting a $500 scholarship. The first student he's presenting a $500 scholarship to is Giselle Montoya. Giselle? She's probably in class at Wabansi Community College and majoring in business. The other student is Jennifer Nunez. Jennifer Nunez is also going to Wabansi Community College and she will be presented with a $500 scholarship. La Quebrada Restaurant had another scholarship for $500 that Alderman Garza will be presenting to Jose Ruiz. Jose Ruiz is attending Wabansi Community College and also majoring in criminal justice. Alderman Ted Masiacos will be presenting the next scholarship. He is presenting a $500 scholarship to Samantha Eliseche. Samantha is attending Wabansi Community College and majoring in political science. Next, we have Fox Valley Park District, and I believe board president is here. Check, or representatives from Fox Valley Park District. Presenting a $500 scholarship. They're presenting it to Seda Gazmi Bedoya. Seda is attending Wabansi Community College and majoring in psychology. Next, Alderman Shakita Hart-Burns. Alderman Hart-Burns is presenting a $1,000 scholarship to Autumn Agustin. Autumn is studying at Wabansi Community College. Denny's Fox Valley is our next scholarship presenter. Denny's. Okay, so on behalf of Denny's Fox Valley, Alderman Garza will present a scholarship to, well, actually won't present it, but will announce it, Joseph Enzel. Joseph is at Wabansi Community College, had class this morning. Next, we have Alderman Bill Donnell, who could not join us, but on his behalf, Alderman Garza is presenting a $500 scholarship to Kevon Davis, or Kevon Davis. Kevon is attending Wabansi Community College. That's from Alderman Donnell. There we go, okay. And Alderman Ed Bugg. Alderman Bugg, come present the scholarship. Presenting a scholarship to Justin Finn in the amount of $250, and he is attending Wabanzi Community College. Is Justin here? No? Okay, well, thank you, Alderman Buck, for your support. Those are all the scholarships we have to present tonight. Again, I wholeheartedly thank all of the sponsors of this year's scholarship. And now we will be presenting the awards to the sponsors of today's event. We have Nuestra Cocina. Can members of Nuestra Cocina come up? Out of here. Oh, there she comes.
All right.
Thank you for that. The yogurt and the cheese and sour cream. I hope you all took your lactose intolerance medication this morning. Felipe Rocha from Country Financial.
Flip.
Felipe. Tequila Paris. If you didn't take that medication, you can take some tequila and you'll be just fine. Paris is around here. Oh, okay. On behalf of Buddies, thank you. Mike Essie Restaurant. He's unable to join us, but we want to thank him. And event sponsor, Scientel Solutions. They are the breakfast event sponsors. Thank you very much. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. Well, if you did not know, this breakfast is held in September to help kick off National Hispanic Heritage Month, which runs in the United States between September 15th and October 15th. It recognizes the contributions of Hispanics to the United States and celebrates all Hispanic heritage and culture. Today we recognize the Mexican independence. In 1810, a couple of failed attempts by Creole leaders, those are Mexican-born Spaniards, to secure the Mexican independence had already taken place. But discontent was high. So Father Miguel Hidalgo, who was a 57-year-old Creole and who was beloved by all of his parishioners for his tireless efforts on their behalf, began to harangue his parishioners to rise up in arms, even with stones, slings, and sticks, or spears. What Hidalgo intended was and accomplished was to launch his flock against the hated Gauchupines. Those are Spaniards born in Spain living in Mexico. They'd been exploiting the wealth of the Mexican people with the greatest injustices for 300 years. On the morning of September 6, 1810, Miguel Hidalgo y Costilla called a mass. It was attended by about 300 people, including hacienda owners, local politicians, and Spaniards. There he rang the church bells, summoning the workers from nearby fields, and exhorted his following to take up arms and join him in his fight against the injustices of the Spanish colonial system. Within moments, he had an army of over 600 men. And over the course of the war, over 50,000 men joined the fight. From the pulpit, he announced the revelation. Know this, my children, that knowing your patriotism, I have put myself at the head of the movement begun some hours ago to wrest away power from the Europeans and give it to you. And the people responded enthusiastically. He declared himself an open revolt against Spanish rule from the pulpit of his church, launching the Mexican War of Independence. This action became known as El Grito de Dolores, or the Cry of Dolores. And today Mexicans celebrate September 16th as their Independence Day. Each year at around 11 p.m. on the night of September 15th, the President of Mexico rings the bell from the National Palace in Mexico City. After ringing the bell, he repeats the cry of patriotism. We will now celebrate the Mexican culture with El Grito de Dolores. Joining us today to pronounce El Grito de Dolores is Counsel Miguel Antonio Cuesta Zarco, who is joining us from the office of the Consul General of Mexico in Chicago. Please help me welcome him.
Le pido a todos mis compatriotas mexicanos se pongan de pie, por favor. Y retiembla en sus centros la tierra al sonoro rugir del cañón. Y retiembla en sus centros la tierra al sonoro rugir del cañón. Si vaya tus sienes de oliva, de la paz del arcángel divino, que el cielo tu eterno destino con el dedo de Dios escribió. Mas si osare un extraño enemigo profanar con sus plantas tu suelo, pienso, patria querida, que el cielo un soldado en cada hijo te dio, un soldado en cada hijo te dio. Mexicanos a grito de guerra, el acero a prestar y el bridón, y retiembla en sus centros la tierra al sonoro rugir del cañón. Y retiembla en sus centros la tierra al sonoro rugir del cañón. Mexicanos, ¡viva la independencia nacional! ¡Viva! ¡Vivan los héroes que nos dieron patria y libertad! ¡Viva! ¡Viva Hidalgo! ¡Viva! ¡Viva Morelos! ¡Viva! ¡Viva Josefa Ortiz de Domínguez! ¡Viva! ¡Viva Allende! ¡Viva! ¡Viva Guerrero! ¡Viva! ¡Viva Aldama y Matamoros! ¡Viva! ¡Viva México! ¡Viva! ¡Viva México! ¡Viva! ¡Viva México! ¡Viva!
Thank you. Thank you all very much for being here. On behalf of Alderman Juan Garza, the Hispanic Pioneer Breakfast Committee, we thank you for joining us this morning, and we hope you all have a fantastic day.
Thank you everyone. I hope to see you next year and make the reservations on time, and we really enjoy it. Thank you so much to all the sponsors. For the first time, we are getting